And we're broadcasting. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, Ed, aka Savage Tech Man. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere. Join the Geek Homeworld. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode and live stream here of the Geek Homeworld podcast. I'm your host, Ed, and joining me is Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl.
Good evening.
Good evening. And we're going to talk about a few things here this evening, this wonderful Saturday evening. It's been a stormy day, and it's as if the God of Thunder did not want us to talk about
Loki.
about Loki. And I said before in another stream, I love the fact that the programming on Loki was that it was coming out on Wednesdays because he would not follow Thor's Day, which is Thursday. So perfect timing. And we're here on a Saturday, so I don't know what Saturday translates to. Whatever Norse gods.
Saturn's Day. I don't think it's a Norse god.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, welcome Saturn. Anyway, we are live here, and I'm just gonna check the thing, make sure the car is running. I am burdened with glorious purpose. That's why I'm here tonight. So, Cheryl's gonna join me here. We're gonna talk about three things, and she may drop out of the stream, so I'm not sure. But we're going to talk about the premiere of Loki, Glorious Purpose. We're also going to talk about In the Heights that we saw, give our review of that. And we're going to talk about Cruella, another Disney property, and our thoughts on it, and thoughts and feelings and everything. And we'll be taking your questions here on the chat here. And I'm using StreamYard, so you can probably see by the video there. So I gotta get my light in here. Excuse me. Have to look my best.
Get it together.
Is that better?
I'm not looking at you, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Everyone is. So let's see. I'm gonna see if I can share this. Share. There we go. Share, copy link. Give me just a second. I'm just sharing this. I know.
So I'll talk about my glorious purpose.
You do that. I'm sharing this.
I mean, when we first saw
there we go.
Avengers, that was just over 9 years ago when Loki arrived with his glorious purpose, and I was just enamored by him and only have continued to have my admiration grow. But I remember when he first arrived and said he was burdened with glorious purpose and he'd come all this way. I said, well, and he didn't bring any hair products.
Yeah, that's he may be the god of mischief, but maybe the reason he's so mischievous is because he never found a good hairdresser.
He just needs some shampoo.
He just needs some shampoo. So
that greasy hair can bring you down.
It can. So I'm just resharing here. Blah 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 blah. We're doing a live stream here, so this is all live, unrehearsed.
So exciting!
Oh, it'll get better. Trust me. I promise.
Are you trying to do your version of the King George song again from Hamilton? There.
Oh yeah, it was. La da da da. How does it go? Da da dee da da.
Not like that. It does not go like that. I'm afraid to.
Are you playing the?
Yeah. I got to turn my volume off.
Oh, you're getting a little.
There we go. You should be getting that feedback now.
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought you were playing it.
No, I'm not playing that video. I'm afraid if you actually try to sing, you'll be back. Then you'll have to pay some licensing fee, or YouTube will take you down.
Wow.
The copyright police.
I'm burdened with glorious purpose, so I don't know how I could, but It is possible. Let me see. Copy. Give me one more second here. This is the behind the scenes of the live stream as I switch to. Okay, who am I? I got too many accounts. I don't know who I am half the time.
Knowing you in real life, I'm not sure that really has anything to do with how many accounts you own. You generally don't know where you are.
I know. Let's see.
For you, GPS is just a challenge, not an actual fact.
It's just a suggestion. That's kind of how I look at it. Like when the GPS tells me a thing, it's not always what I want. Okay, why are you not switching here? Oh, okay. Maybe if I clicked on the right, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Okay, let me see my profile. Thank you. I want to see my profile. No, I don't want to see your page. Switch profile. Okay, I'm on the wrong profile sharing. No wonder it's not working, but it will. So what's on my mind? This is what's on my mind. Just post. That was okay. There's no. Now, why did it do that? I tell you, some social medias this will post and it'll put a nice little picture and everything. This did not. Let's see. Join us live now on the live stream. I promise there's going to be some good quality content here once I get this going. That's not how you spell live stream.
Maybe you should replay the intro after you finish getting yourself set up.
Maybe. This will be part of an audio episode. So, wow, that is not what it looks. It's not supposed to look like that. Why does it? Oh gosh, it just looks terrible.
I don't know what you're looking at.
Okay, well maybe I don't know. I don't know why anybody can't see me. Some people are saying they can't see me. Live chat next time you can. Your input would be interesting. Oh, somebody's telling me on Discord, they're like, I'll drop the link here again. I'm on a Discord here, so I'm trying to. Discord is very, very interesting. I lost you. You dropped out of the broadcast. We still live? Okay. It's just I'm having an. This is crazy. Dang it. Oh. There you go. You dropped off there for a second. And you're back.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I'll be back. Wait and see.
I don't know. We don't probably have the rights to that.
I'm sure my tune's not right.
Da, 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 da.
Those are definitely not the lyrics.
Da, da, da. Oh, that's the wrong one. There it is. Now, why did it work there? Copy link. Okay. Let's share that because this is being a bit of a buggard, whatever that means. There we go. Okay, now it's I think it's finally working. People weren't getting the correct link. Join us now on the live stream. Loki time. Oh, and we're going to be full of spoilers too.
For sure.
Of course we are. All right, so now I got to go back. I'm going to monitor it. Oops, no. It's closing everything down. I'll get too many windows open. Devices here. So no one's shown up yet. But let's see. I'm live. The channel. There I am. All right. Let's see if this is working. Talk to me. All right. It is hot in here. I got too many lights on. Anyway, so let's just let's talk about Loki. So we're gonna talk about Loki, Cruella, and the Heights. Not necessarily in order, but we're going to start with our favorite, Loki.
You're muted again. And there goes Ed. So I think everyone can still hear me. So now it is the Cheryl show. So Loki is definitely one of my favorite characters from the MCU. I think maybe I just like a bad boy, but I love that they have been able to carry his story through so many of the films and to develop his character so that he is not just a villain and not just the god of mischief, but that we can see him more fully realized as a person. And even though in the timeline, again, Ed already said that we were going to have spoilers on this. In the timeline of the MCU, he is now removed from a period which actually, for him, is right at the end of the first Avengers movie from, what was that, 2012. So this character, Loki, has not experienced all of the things that happened afterward in the subsequent films, his developing relationship with his brother, him taking over the kingdom of Asgard, the battle with their sister Hela, his time with the Hulk on I can't remember the name of that world that was run by good old Jeff. What's his name? Jeff Goldblum. So none of that has happened for this Loki, and I'm not sure how important that's going to be as the series goes on, but it will be interesting to see if that has any impact. Now, we do know that he's got the ability because Owen Wilson's character has already showed him via the sort of hollow projector that they have, has already shown him scenes from a future of the life that he hasn't experienced and that, according to the TVA, he will not experience. So he's seen some of the mistakes that he's made, some of the good things that have happened, the loss of his mother, the loss of his father. So this character, Loki, is aware of those things happening in the real, the sacred timeline, even though he is now in an alternate timeline. And it looks like Ed is back with us. Welcome back to your show, Ed.
Yep, and the recording of that, I was trying not to interrupt you there, but I was trying to get back on. Yeah, so it picked you up, at least on the audio portion. I'm sure the live stream's been still going. I don't know.
Yeah, live stream is still giving me a count, so I'm assuming live stream is still picking it up.
Yeah, the audio portion though, from that.
That's your problem. You're the producer, not me.
Yeah, well, I'll just have to.
I'm just.
I don't know. This may not end up being an episode. I don't know. At least an audio episode.
Well, start over again. Load the intro and start over.
Okay.
I mean, don't restart the live stream.
No. I'm not trying to restart the live stream. I don't know what went wrong.
For the actual podcast, you can just reload the intro and start over.
Let's see. Make sure this is not on. All right. Let's see.
Singing Hamilton tunes again. There aren't any Loki songs that I know, so sorry.
All right. Let's see. I put up a new link, so maybe that one will work. Well, that's a totally. I don't know. These things keep changing, so I don't know if anybody's going to show. It worked perfectly last time, so let's try this again. Okay, let's just, for the fun of it. Here we go. We'll count it down here. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, Ed, aka Savage Tech Man. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere. Join the Geek Homeworld. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Geek Homeworld, and I got Cheryl here, a special guest along with me. We're doing the live stream, so if you're watching the live stream, there may have been some content on the Geek Homeworld YouTube channel. You may see the whole thing, the kind of prep that was going into this, and we're having some technical difficulties. I'm going to blame it on the weather since we had some really nasty thunderstorms, even though it stopped storming an hour or so ago. But
It's
I'm just
still
going to.
pouring down rain.
Is it still pouring down rain? Well,
Yeah,
maybe that's
yeah,
it.
it is.
But I keep getting kicked off of my own stream, so I don't know what's happening. But anyway, so this may be an audio portion of the podcast, and we're talking. Let's get to it. We're talking about the three things tonight. We're talking about the premiere of Loki, Glorious Purpose, and the season premiere of that, episode 1. And we're also talking about In the Heights, which we got to go see. And we've also recently seen Cruella. So we're going to talk about Cruella as well. 2 Disney properties in the mix there. Our last live stream, we talked about A Quiet Place Part 2. If you hadn't gone and seen that, you need to run to the theater. News on that is it just broke 100 million. So domestically, it is the biggest pandemic box office. This is its 3rd week, but it's the biggest pandemic box office film to. It got to 100 million first before Godzilla versus Kong domestically, and that's actually saying something for the pandemic. Anyway, we're thankful for Disney Plus because they bring us great shows like Falcon Winter Soldier, and especially WandaVision. And the 3rd Disney Plus show is Loki. And 2 of them that I was looking forward to were WandaVision and Loki the most. And they haven't disappointed yet. So once again, Cheryl, I'm going to ask you to say what your thoughts are on Loki.
Sure. So first I want to say thanks for having me on the podcast. It's been a while since I guested. So probably a lot of you aren't familiar with who I am, but I am actually more present on social media in the realm of real world royalty. So if you're interested in that, you can follow me on Twitter at Palace Princess. So hello to any of my regular followers who may be tuning in this evening to hear me talk about some geek things. It has been quite some time because even throughout the pandemic, I don't think I appeared much on your show, although we were still in the same household bubble.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm excited about all of the content tonight, but particularly Loki, because Loki is my favorite character. For those of you who were tuned in for the sort of pre-show this evening on the live stream, I'm really excited, sort of geeking out about the fact that how they've recreated Loki and followed his story. So he really first appeared in Thor, but then we had Avengers, 9 years ago, just over 9 years ago, 2012. And then they sort of went back to him in 2012 in the last Avengers movie, and he escaped with the Tesseract into what has now become an alternate timeline. And so this character, Loki, who is in the Disney Plus show, has not experienced the things that the Loki we all know and love, from my perspective, has experienced. So I'm interested to see how important that's going to be, or unimportant, or how many different timelines of Loki we're going to end up seeing by the end of the series.
Yeah, I am super over the moon excited about this. It hasn't disappointed. One of the standouts from the first episode is Owen Wilson. I'm so glad to see him back, and he kind of plays the straight guy in this. He's not as goofy as he can be, and he works really well as Morbius, I think it's his name.
Mobius, yeah.
Mobius, excuse me. And I really enjoy his character there, and a lot of the stuff they're breaking down Loki, what Loki is, who Loki is, what's his glorious purpose, what's his purpose, or whatever. And it's some of the questions that we've been asking, stuff that I thought from first time we saw Loki in Avengers. What I was like, well, he's not really. He calls himself the god of mischief, but is it really mischief or not?
It's not really mischief. It's like he's really,
like
doing bad things, You know, and I think you're right about Owen Wilson. I think he does a great job in the character of Mobius. Character is great. And in this first episode, I also want to, you know, shout out to Wunmi Misaku. I think that's how you say her name, who plays Hunter B-15. I think, you know,
She's great.
she's the one who's constantly, you know, snapping Loki's leash, and then of course he does it to her as well. But you know, she, if you watch her acting, is really doing a great job. If particularly think about the courtroom scene where Loki's trying to use his powers, and she's just off over his left shoulder, and you just watch her face, and you're like, that's acting. When you watch their faces, that's real acting. And she has no, she does have a line or two there, but it's really the acting in her face that's taking place. So just great casting. And then they've already established very quickly that his powers that, you know, are so impressive on Midgard are nothing in this space. Like even the time stones and the other infinity stones mean nothing to the time variance authority.
They don't even work there. In fact, one of the people has them in a drawer with the Tesseract, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we have plenty of these. The guys, some of the guys are around here use them as paperweights." I'm like, what? And it's just kind of funny how you know, it has no power there, and the time variance authority, TVA. And I know there's a lot of Easter eggs in there. I want to call those three figures behind the what is her name? Miss Minutes, who is basically the judge there that Loki is in front of.
Getting some feedback from you. I don't know if that's to everyone. I don't know how many mics you may have live.
Oh, I've got none live.
Okay. That was
okay.
strange.
That was weird. Sorry.
Yeah. I could hear you said something about Easter eggs.
Oh yeah, there's some Easter eggs in there, like the lady that Miss Minutes, who is there, she's hilarious. She's the judge essentially, but the Easter eggs are those. I think I call them Time Lords. I know that's not what they're called, but timekeepers. This
is not Doctor Who.
This is not Doctor Who, but I think, you know, all of this is spoiler talk, by the way, on this live stream. So if you haven't seen Cruella in the Heights or Loki's first episode, you may want to turn away and come back later and watch or something. But and we're also taking your comments. If you're here, please say something. If you're actually here watching the video live, we had a few issues, I think, weather related or whatever. So I don't know if anybody's on here yet. But anyway, show must go on. So, yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Easter eggs.
So yeah, there were the three statues behind her, and I know there were a bunch in the credits. And the big Easter egg is the Peggy Carter. Half a millisecond you see when Loki first leaves the room, the interrogation room with Mobius, and he you see one of those little portals open, and an agent comes through with a person who very much hairstyle, outfit looks like Peggy Carter.
It is a split second. Like you've got to really go back and catch it.
It's like me being on a TV show recently. Last year or whatever. That was like a millisecond, but you couldn't really see me. You can see some of my beard. Yeah. But anywho, so I think that's the nod that essentially, from what I'm hearing, is that kind of what we always knew, but hoped somehow would be different, that all of the timelines of the Netflix shows that were Marvel, from Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and of course Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was an ABC show, but they're all not in this continuity. And this is a way of maybe saying you're out of that continuity unless
different timelines. Yeah.
Unless Peggy Carter did something, maybe it's tying into Endgame and how Steve, went back and became old man Steve Rogers or whatever, and he spent his life with Peggy.
Clearly that's a deviation from the sacred timeline, that he went back and relived that life because it would have
But
changed everything about Peggy's life.
there's been some speculation about that. So did Steve? There's been the the memes and the videos. Did Steve just sit by and while all this stuff went down, throughout the decades, and not do anything? But my thought is maybe he did. Maybe I think it created a branch timeline, and I think he found a way. Maybe he took another Pym particle with him and didn't tell anybody, and jumped into that timeline. If that makes sense, jump back into the main timeline at the end of Endgame to give Sam the shield. Maybe he just popped in there into that reality. I would think it would make the time travel in MCU doesn't kind of make sense. They make fun of like Back to the Future and all that other time travel that we've learned.
Well, I mean, or we've seen in this episode of Loki that the Infinity Stones don't mean anything. So I'm just going way out. This is just top of my head occurring to me stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If Steve Rogers, when he went back, became a time variant and was taken into the TVA and then got an Infinity Stone and went back into the main time frame,
Right.
then he could have used an Infinity Stone again to do what he wanted to, didn't necessarily even need a Pym particle.
I guess. I don't know. I really have to think about that. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to think about.
It's occurring to me, so.
Yeah. The let's see. So yeah, but there's a lot with the episode. This is a lot of build up, a lot of setup, and at the end of the episode, I was like, "Oh, come on, we got to wait till next Wednesday."
Exactly.
And I know people just like the last couple of series were like, "Just let me stream the whole thing." But then, if we did that, there wouldn't be a weekly. I got to see this. We would blow through a series, and some people could do it in one afternoon.
And conversation. You wouldn't have the interaction of the community.
Right. It would be like a lot of shows that just they're gone through, and in this way, with people, some theaters still not open, and people can't still go out to see stuff. It's good to have kind of appointment television. That we can, however you consume it. Whether you've cut the cable or not, or whatever. However you get your stuff, or you watch it on YouTube or whatever, wherever you watch it. It's good to have, I think, that sense of normalcy. So, like on a weekly basis, you feel tied to that series, and you want to return and you want to talk about it. And it gives time for speculation and new theories. And that's always fun. That's always a ton of fun. I
think it was sort of torturous though during WandaVision. Those weeks felt really long.
They did. I feel like those weeks with Loki are going to feel the same, even though we're a little bit more conditioned. Yeah. And for me, Falcon and Winter Soldier came and went so quick.
It didn't feel, because with WandaVision, there was a lot of what the heck is going on.
Right. It was its
speculation that made the time between episodes seem so long. With the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I didn't mind the time in between. I wasn't, I didn't enjoy that show as much as WandaVision. I certainly don't think I'm going to have enjoyed it as much as I think I'm going to enjoy Loki. Because this first episode was just a really tight production in so many ways. And I'm just more interested in this story.
And did you notice the dialogue there? The same interrogation, the words that Loki used in the end, he ended up admitting that, it's just an illusion that's created by a person out of fear, or to instill fear in somebody else. And he's like, you do understand yourself, Loki. And now, so I liked how the dialogue wrapped around, it was like the dialogue was in a time loop in a way.
Well, in reality, he has a pretty quick transformation of, thinking about the fact that his character development has not gone through all the experiences that the Loki we know has gone through.
Right. This is 2012 Loki.
This is definitely it was written in the script moment for him to be able to come to that. They give him reasons to come to those conclusions really quickly because we need to move on with the show. But like if these were real people, real gods, I guess it would take a little bit more time and more than just showing you a video and demonstrating that guys who work at desks all their lives can play with Infinity Stones because they don't mean anything.
I know that's kind of like a slap in the face of the Infinity Stones, but I'm sure they mean
all of the Avengers
mean a lot more.
Like the Avengers movies mean nothing now because Infinity Stones are nothing.
Well, oh God, don't say that.
The TVA. I mean, I think that's one of the things Loki is depressed about in part of the show. Is like, wait a minute, none of this means anything.
Right. Honestly, his whole life, in a way, if you put it in that characteristic from him watching that reel, essentially was saying that his life really didn't mean much because in the grand scheme of things he's basically a sideline character. It's almost like breaking the fourth wall in a way and saying Loki's just there to, like they said in this episode, to prop others up. He's never meant,
he stated in Avengers that he had glorious purpose. But really, he didn't. He had a nefarious purpose. And his glorious purpose, as Owen Wilson shows him, is to make other people be able to become their best selves. So now this Loki, who is outside of the sacred timeline, has a real glorious purpose. So now he can be the actual hero of the story in trying to capture the evil Loki, the time variant.
Yeah, and it's just everything's done well with this show so far. I mean, it started off even better than I thought. When I think of Falcon and Winter Soldier, I really feel like they could have cut some scenes. It should have been a movie, and I don't know that it would have been a strong movie to be quite honest. I felt like a lot of it could have been taken out the middle and smushed together and been a really good, maybe a feature or something, but well,
there were places where they could have resolved an issue and they didn't, just for the sake of making it a series. Then there were other places where they came to resolution where it was like, okay, well, that was easy.
Yeah, and it was like Zemo was just leading them around, and we got the Zemo dance, which is always fun, and everything, but yeah, I felt lacking, and then it was hard to not try to compare it. I went in with open eyes, trying not to compare it to how great WandaVision was, and realizing that each of these series have their own different flavor, if you will. Like Loki is going to be totally different, but it started off strong. Not to say Falcon and Winter Soldier didn't. I mean, it started off with some of the best action that we've seen so far in Disney Plus. Marvel Disney
definitely
Plus.
The best action for Disney Plus's series.
And we got the training montage.
We still have Clint's series to come too.
Hawkeye, yeah. And there's some surprises coming up in that's going to be kind of eye-opening that we can't talk about. But
do you know about that because you know people in the production, or you just have heard whispers in the blogosphere?
No comment.
Sorry.
Let me see. So what I have to say about that is I am Iron Man. I know you think I'm a superhero. We don't. But I am Iron Man.
So, except when you're Batman.
Except when I'm Batman.
Universe.
Yeah, it's hard on the voice to be Batman. You so far you like Loki. So far I like Loki. We're good with Loki. Let's travel into the heights. In the heights,
yeah. We've been waiting a long time to be able to get In the Heights because
long time.
And the more recent trailers have said, see it on the biggest screen possible. And so we did see it on the second biggest screen in our area,
right?
Because we did not see it in IMAX. But really, and in fact, we had to move back further in the theater because I couldn't see all of the dancing well enough.
We actually sat too close.
Yeah,
we had to move back. But
which is fine because there was hardly anybody in the theater, so everybody is still, pandemicking. But it's an incredible show. I've never seen the stage production of In the Heights.
Never have I.
For those of you listening who are not aware, In the Heights was actually Lin-Manuel Miranda's first Broadway show. So he did this one before Hamilton. And you can definitely hear a lot of familiar melody
Hamilton-esque.
between the two shows,
Yeah.
for sure. And they have a Easter egg in there when I think it was Jimmy Smits who was on the phone, and the ringtone or the sound, the waiting music was actually "You'll Be Back," King George's song from Hamilton. So that was really funny.
Or la da dee.
Well,
I don't know. I guess.
In the Heights has a lot of references to other media, whether that's other Broadway shows or movies or whatever. I mean, even at the end, and again, being unfamiliar with the story until we saw it on the big screen, at the end, I had just leaned over to you and said, "This is like It's a Wonderful Life," and then they actually said that on the screen.
On the screen, I looked at you. I was like,
so
"Wow, did you know that was coming?"
Aware of that, and to whatever that was intentional. I don't, I guess I'm sad that I haven't seen the stage show, because then I can't really see what's been introduced to that. Because obviously the Hamilton song, that was an introduction that you wouldn't have had in the stage show unless it was added later, because this existed before Hamilton existed.
And had the pandemic not happened, we wouldn't have probably gotten to see Hamilton at all, because it was on Disney Plus.
Right?
That was
recording
wonderful
of the original cast,
right?
Which is phenomenal, and everybody got phenomenal. And I've seen it a few times. Have not seen it in a theater. Have only seen it on. Was it Disney Plus? It was on, or
Disney Plus?
Yeah, it was on Disney Plus.
It was a big coup for Disney to get that. So that Hamilton was fantastic.
I think In the Heights is streaming on HBO Max, I think, and not on Disney Plus. It's not on Disney Plus.
I don't know if it's. I feel like it's got a window that it's in theaters, and then I don't know. I should know that. I'm not going to look it up. Too lazy. But yeah, if you're able to safely get out to a theater and see In the Heights, I highly recommend that you do. I enjoyed it. There's some heart touching moments, and there's a couple of moments that'll kind of grab you at your heartstrings, which is what I like. I like a movie with some depth to it, of emotion, and it definitely has that. The songs are great. There is an after credit scene, so after every single credit, you might as well think it's a Marvel film. I was trained, because I did not get out of my seat. Marvel has trained me properly. I don't care if it's not a Marvel film. I do not get out of my seat. I do not get out of my seat until the lights come up and they're sweeping around my feet, and I'm like, and the screen goes, back to whatever previews or something.
Well, I have a feeling that after credit scene is definitely not part of the live production. Like they don't do an after bows scene on.
But it's a nice nod. It's a really nice nod to have that, and to that little scene. And I won't say what it is. I'll let people be surprised, But yeah, I love the cast. I think it's well acted. The songs, I'm already like, oh, this is going to be Oscar consideration.
And you'll see a lot of the same people, because Lin-Manuel Noriega, oh my gosh.
I keep saying that. I don't know why.
I know, because it's Manuel, and that's our generation. Miranda, he worked with a lot of the same people from his different projects. So you'll see some of the actors that you'll recognize from Hamilton in there. But then, I think it's a really beautiful production. They do some creative things that they obviously couldn't do on Broadway. But then there's some things that I wonder if it was a tighter show on Broadway than it is in the movie. Some things felt a little drawn out, maybe a little disconnected. But it is sort of the intertwining of the sueñito, so the little dreams. Sueño is dream, sueñito is little dream. So it's sort of the intertwining of the dreams of several different characters, from Abuela to the four main young people, as well as Uznavi's cousin Sonny. So you have these people, and throughout you'll see, there's sort of these different ambitions that each of them have or have had, and Jimmy Smith's character as well. That you see what they wanted to do, The lady that owns the beauty salon, you see her dream woven in there, even though it isn't one of the main dreams. And there's also sort of, I guess, this melting pot in this neighborhood of
Washington Heights,
where you have people of Latin backgrounds, but they're from all different places. And so there are several different songs in there that highlight the fact that
like Cuba
some are from Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and elsewhere. And I think that's really nice. Now, it does employ Spanish in different places, both in the dialogue and in the lyric. So if you're not fluent in Spanish, there may be some things that you miss here and there. Of course, if you do stream it and you're able to have subtitles on, then hopefully those will translate for you. So there were a couple places where I was translating to Ed what they had said or what they had just sung, just because I thought it was important to understand what it meant.
Right. So I just forgot. My brain just forgot what I was saying. But In the Heights is it's fantastic, and it's really awesome. I'm gonna try something for 1 second here. Forgive me if this.
Are you gonna disappear on us again?
I'm trying not to disappear. I'm just gonna copy something. This may cause a little bit of feedback. I hope not.
This is a live production.
I'm gonna hit this and hit the. Okay. Okay, that's me. It's a live production, and sorry, that's me. I'm looping myself here. Hold on. Okay, give me 1 second here. I just need to.
Well, while you're doing whatever you're doing, I'll just keep talking. I reckon as exciting as it is to watch you go I really enjoyed several of the characters, but particularly the character of Abuela, and how I think after the end of her storyline, she's referred to as the matriarch of the neighborhood, and how incredible. It really touched me, this idea of community, because I feel like in a lot of ways we've sort of lost a sense of community in a lot of places across the country, and the pandemic hasn't really done anything to help that. Certainly, a year ago when everyone was sort of focused on talking about first responders and talking about essential workers, there was a sense of community. But now that things are opening back up again, I don't know, I worry that that bit of community that developed through the pandemic is at risk, because there's so many things that are dividing us, and it's very difficult for people to get past some things. So it was nice to see a world in this production that everybody has struggles, and but everyone is supporting each other and helping each other, and even though they all have their own different ambitions, if you will, with their sueñitos, that they all support each other. So when you see like the 96,000 song with who won the lottery and what would you do if you won the lottery, that's always a fun exercise to do. But here in that production, which was an incredible choreography with the swimming pool, I can't imagine how they do that on the stage, but really incredible production number. The idea that everyone is sort of walking through together. What would you do? What would you do? And then you have the revelation of the numbers, and no one there has won. And so, but because no one really expected to win, there's only a very momentary disappointment. Of course, we didn't win.
Yeah, this there was a lot about seeing this in 2020 versus seeing In the Heights in 2021. I had so much built up excitement to see this, and it still paid off for me. I still think that In the Heights is going to be mentioned at the Oscars. I did have a discussion with a friend of mine. He was Scott, and he was saying that, these songs aren't original because unless there was something that was written originally for the screen, this is all basically a filmed version of, the or whatever, a movie version of the stage.
Yeah.
Right. So I was just that would disappoint me unless there was something new written for the film specifically, because I could see it being, nominated. The soundtrack is fantastic. I love this. Obviously, the sense of community is a big part of this film, and I didn't walk away disappointed. I had a feeling it's one of the films that, In the Heights, A Quiet Place Part 2. Those were, and No Time to Die, and in Top Gun Maverick. Those are some of my favorites of 2020 that, we're all starting to see out of order, but we're starting to see them now, and in the theaters. And I'm just excited. I'm excited that it turned out well.
The screening we saw in the Heights had a little introductory video, which I assume they're showing in all of the theater screenings, with Lin-Manuel Miranda and other producers saying, thank you for coming back to the theater. And in that intro, Lin says, this, again, remembering this was his first show that he wrote,
Right.
He says, this is a love letter to my community, to my neighborhood. And so you can see, how personal it is to him. And again, looking at the fact that he's casting people. And so even the character that Lin plays in this movie, his nemesis, is, you'll recognize him if you saw the Hamilton on Disney Plus last year, is from that show. So he's finding places to put people who are important to him. And of course, these are incredibly great performers themselves with terrific careers.
Yeah, what I don't know what else I can say about In the Heights, except it was I was going to say something in Espanol, but
you can't say something in Espanol.
I don't know. I was going to try to be clever or something. It was, I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was exceptional. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the film.
Well, I do want to say I enjoy all of the performances. Jimmy Smits, I'm not always a Jimmy Smits fan. I feel like I kind of feel like Jimmy Smits the way I do about Kevin Costner, that I just don't know that their performances are always very well rounded, and part of that is just about their manner of speaking. But I felt like he did a really masterful job in this film, and what his character was experiencing and what that meant in terms of representing the community. I've been watching Jimmy Smits since probably LA Law back in the 80s, and I really felt it was probably one of his best performances. Because of the role and everything else that's in there, I doubt he probably wouldn't be nominated for anything. But in terms of his own career, I think it was a great performance.
Yeah, I love Jimmy Smits. Of course, he's he's Princess Leia's daddy.
Yeah, I know. That's how you know him best.
Yeah, so he gets props there. I like Jimmy Smits. He's really good, and his character is really important. I mean, how he, we're talking spoilers here, so how he basically sold part of the business to put her through college, his daughter through college, and then she went to Stanford, and she's like, my culture, my block isn't there. Washington Heights isn't there. I feel ostracized. I feel different. I feel
not home.
She's not home. Exactly. And yeah, she says that. And
between cultures.
There's a couple times where she's singing and she's like, just let me listen to my neighborhood, and you can hear kids playing and cars passing by and horns honking, and laughter and just and kids running down the street and the I call it fire plug. What's it called?
Fire plug is
Fire
fire
hydrant.
hydrant. Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear that and kids playing, and it's the summer, and there's a blackout that happens during this. It's very pivotal. Is it Abuela that doesn't make it through? Is that correct? Yeah, I got the correct character. I'm always terrible with
names. Her name
names.
is Claudia.
Claudia.
Abuela just means grandmother. Her name is Claudia.
Sorry.
Or abuelito, they call her sometimes. But I think this is one of several musicals that we're going to be seeing in the coming months. We've got West Side Story coming, Dear Evan Hansen, which the preview, the trailer that we've seen for that so far. Well, it doesn't really. It really depicts it as a drama and not as a musical. So it'll be interesting to see how they produced it. But for me, I enjoyed this film. I think you definitely should see it. And I agree, see it on the biggest screen you can see it because of all the dance numbers and all the color that is in it. But I still am going to put Hamilton on top of everything, even just watching. I enjoy live theater. So, I enjoyed being able to see Hamilton and how they presented that on the stage with the Disney Plus screenings that they've done. In fact, you can still watch it on Disney Plus now, I think. And it's just such a clever, tight production. This one to me, and again, not having seen the stage version of it, the screen version of it, I think could be tighter in terms of the progression of the story.
Yeah, Hamilton is just solid. Hamilton just feels. I think maybe because even though we saw Hamilton on Disney Plus, it still was on the stage. It was in one setting. This was like a movie in real life, if that makes sense. In the Heights was, if you know what I mean by that. And it just felt different. It felt a little different. So,
well, I mean, there were obviously things that they translated really well. So it didn't, because sometimes I'll see a movie, and even if I don't know it was a play, I'll say to you, I think that was based on a play, and then we look it up, and it was, because they haven't figured out how to get it out of the box that is the theater.
Yeah.
This film does not feel like that at all.
At all.
They've done a great job of getting it out of the theater.
In fact, one of my complaints was about Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which was a great film. I never knew going in that it was a theatrical production, but it felt like a theatrical production on screen. Not to take away from the good
that doesn't mean the performance
of the film. Yeah, the performances were great, but it felt like I was watching a play, and that's not a bad thing, but I felt that.
Right, because the play is just more by necessity. It's confined in its space.
Right.
And so when I see a film that feels confined in its space, but this definitely is not. This one is all over everywhere, and it feels natural that it's done it. It doesn't feel like a stage production that went to the streets.
Right.
So definitely, high marks for that, for sure. But I just wonder if the story progresses better on stage. And I love, like I said, I love live theater. I love the stagecraft and the creativity that goes into trying to show, like the Hamilton production, the fact that they've got that stage that turns in the middle and how much use they make of that, both in the delivery of the scenes as well as in the choreography, is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, not much more I can say on that. So let's switch gears to Cruella, which, even though I will admit I nodded off a little bit because I was tired that day, but I did enjoy the film. I did enjoy Cruella. I think it was better than I thought it would be, and I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack's very 60s, 70s rock in it, so it's kind of like it punctuates the story, and I think that they didn't need all that, but
I had a problem with the time frame, just because they said, and when it opens, Cruella's a little girl, and then she says, and then we're all 10 years later. I'm like, wait a minute, these actors are more like 20, 25 years later. These actors are be in their early 20s, and they aren't. The actors aren't, and they don't look like they are. So I didn't understand the necessity of trying to say that the characters were so young. There would be
Right.
no problem with the characters being the age that they are, really.
It was an interesting film. Great performances. Um,
Emma Thompson is divine.
by
I'm a huge
both
Emma Thompson
Emmy.
fan.
Oh, both Emmas.
I'm not an Emma. Well, I'm not really an Emma Stone fan, but I thought she did an incredible job. But I'll tell
Interesting.
you, I will be irate if they do not get nominations for makeup, hair, and
Costume.
costume, because that was, and the fact that this was supposed to be really the fashion world, you had to have that. And it is a visual spectacle, as you said.
It
The
is.
soundtrack
Yeah.
is a sound spectacle. And I think the story and the acting kind of, if those things are tens, this is a 9. The acting and the story are a 9 compared to the spectacle that is the music and the costumes, and
Right.
those are the best part of the film. But all of the performances are amazing. I have to say, though, my very favorite character. Do you know who my favorite character is?
I should know, and I don't.
You probably don't. I am in love with Wink, the little dog with the eye patch.
Okay.
He's brilliant. Whoever trained that dog is amazing. He plays some very pivotal
Animal
roles.
Wrangler.
He plays some pivotal roles in the story, and they're just really clever. I love a clever film, and they do some really clever things.
Yeah, there was a lot in the film to like, and I really I enjoyed it. It wasn't like Mary Poppins Returns where I was like singing the songs, coming out of the theater or whatever. It didn't engage me to that level, but it did engage me, and we were lucky enough to see it in a theater setting, so that that always makes films better to me, and I enjoyed it. I don't have it's. Is it one of the best films of the year? Well, you kind of still got to grade 2020, 2021 on a curve, because we don't necessarily have a full stream of yet. We're starting to get more and more films out on a weekly basis. In fact, I think Memorial Day week, or right after that, or the holiday, was when our theaters went back to being open Monday through Friday.
They'd only been open on the weekend.
Right. And all we have is in town is just one AMC, and it has a big D, thankfully. And so
two AMCs in town.
Oh, that's true. Well, I never go to the other one. I never think of it that. I really don't. It's a little farther. Plus, it doesn't have the big D, and I'm just
at all.
I'm always happy. I'm spoiled by the big D. I like that.
To be fair, the few films that we've seen in the last 3 months since we felt secure enough to go back to the theater in person, we have gone to the big D again, because it was a very large space, and so even if there were 20 people in the theater, we knew that we were going to be able to be very distant from anyone who was there.
True. It was a good experience, and it's always nice to get back to the theater. There's so many more films upcoming that I can't wait for, and I'm excited. Probably the next big thing I will see, like summer tent poles, will be Fast 9, or whatever it's called, Fast and Furious 9, which I heard is over the moon ridiculous with stuff in it. You have to suspend all kind of like belief in gravity and other things, physics.
Well, at least they've got Helen Mirren in there, so.
Oh, she's awesome. She's so good in anything she does, and
yes, well, she's like wasted in that film.
Well,
I'm not intending to see it, so don't listen to me.
Yeah, I'm going to see it because it's a cars racing. What's that? What did you say?
I've not seen any of the Fast and Furious films, so I'm not going to start with 9.
Okay. Well, they all were Academy Award nominated films, just so you know.
Oh, you're lying.
Yeah. I don't think they ever got any kind of nominations whatsoever, but they're fun. They're just kind of good summer fun. And in between playing Groot, it gives Vin Diesel something to do. So, and adding Jason Statham is
Just sit
awesome.
back and collect that Groot money.
Yeah, that Groot money keeps paying, I'm sure. Every time I turn on TV, the Avengers is on or something Marvel. So I've got no problem with that. But yeah, so that's probably going to be the next big film I can think of that I'll probably see, like big tentpole. Hopefully we'll catch some in between films, that films that
Well, when is Black Widow coming out?
don't put me on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to know that.
How can we not say Black Widow is on the list for sure?
Oh yeah, well it totally is. I'm not saying it isn't. I don't know, with Black Widow, I'm just kind of waiting to see. I know tickets. I heard tickets are on sale, and I just want to make sure that it's not going to get pushed back. I don't think it will.
Oh, just because it's been pushed back so far.
Yeah, after a while,
is that ever being released?
Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking right now. I'm trying to check out release date. It is. Oh, I don't know why.
Don't know what you did.
Oh, I don't know either.
You sound like a robot.
Oh no, I think that was Discord talking to me.
Don't walk through that scanner Loki walk through. You might be a robot.
That's true.
Wait, do people not know they're robots?
I'm really looking here. Release date, July 9th. Okay, I take that back.
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, no, but I think it's June 21st, 22nd, around Father's Day or so is when Fast 9 comes.
You still sound like a robot.
I sound like a robot?
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't know what that means. I'm just going to keep talking. So whatever it is, it'll clear itself up. But yeah, so July 9th, we'll get Black Widow, but I think we get Fast 9 before that. So I feel like it's around the 22nd-ish, somewhere around there. And so, yeah, I mean, the summer's rolling along. October 8th is when we get finally No Time to Die. And I saw this. You may or may not know this, or care. But No Time to Die, since it's been postponed a year, this Daniel Craig will have broken the record of being the longest Bond ever to play the role. And so I'm getting back feed.
Yeah, I'm trying to let you hear yourself. What? You have to talk in order to hear yourself.
I am talking.
Can you hear that?
Yes, I can hear that. You're walking in. I can hear the echo. She's in the other part. So anyway, but I'm going to bring this, I guess, to an end here. I don't know. I think we're having difficulties, but I can hear myself, and I think they can hear me too. But let's see. So anyway, any last things to say, Cheryl, before you go?
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Really excited to be able to get back to the theaters. I don't intend to neglect my streams though. So a lot of great content is out there, and now that the studios are in production again, we're going to be getting a lot more great content. So I think we have a lot to look forward to in the next year.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I'll be in the theater as much as I can. And thank you, AMC, for making it, for sticking it out. And I guess I'm going to call it for this live stream. And anyway, so I'm just going to play the outro music here. And if y'all haven't seen Loki, jump on board. I'm going to try to do more live streams, maybe weekly. We'll talk about some episodes on it. We'll see how things go, and go check out In the Heights and get vaccinated. It's the right thing to do. And you might want to check out Cruella too. There's a lot of stuff going on in theaters around you, and let's support those theaters. Let's keep them open, and let's support all those industries that the film industry supports. And thank you, Cheryl, for being on this episode of the Geek Homeworld. Welcome back.
Thanks for letting me invite myself on.
I appreciate you inviting yourself on. Anytime you want to invite yourself on, there's always a chair. So I'm gonna roll the outro here, I guess, and thank y'all. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Geek Homeworld with your host, Savage Tech Man. You can find us on Libsyn, Google+, follow and interact with us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, listen to us on iTunes and leave a review, subscribe to us on YouTube, read our thoughts on blog. See you again on the Geek Homeworld. I'm still here. All right. Bye, everybody.